Hey y'all, and welcome to As Told by Jasmine. My name is Jasmine, and today I am doing a story time on my birth. My birthing experience was not how I planned it, but before I officially get into my birthing video and talking about it, if you are currently pregnant, dealing with postpartum, anything pertaining to those two, please do not watch this video, because when you have postpartum, a lot of things can trigger you, and you can get postpartum from anything. And I do not want to be the cause of you having more problems or experiencing any type of complications, or you stressing out because like you're overthinking, like how I am an overthinker, especially when I was pregnant. Please do not watch this video. Wait until after your baby is here and you're holding your bundle of joy. But if you are experiencing postpartum and you personally were traumatized by your birthing experience, just like how I was, do not watch this video. Wait until my postpartum video comes so we can talk about all that stuff there. But moving on, today, like I said before, I'm doing a story time on going into labor and everything that happened during the 24-hour time span until my baby boy came into the world. So let's start with March 17th, which was a Sunday. And that night, I started to notice that my baby, he was kind of like responding slowly to me eating, because throughout my whole pregnancy, my baby, he would wake up and respond to my eating because we had a set eating schedule, and he always woke up after snack time, lunch, breakfast, dinner, all of that. He always responded. And so March 17th, I started to notice that he was like a little slow with responding to me and the food that I was eating. So that was like trigger number one, because I was like, he's never done that. And meanwhile, I'm literally a week from my due date. I was scheduled to be due March 28th, and it's March 17th right now. So I was like, something kind of doesn't seem right. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna push it to the side because I'm having a totally healthy pregnancy. So go to Monday, I'm at PT, and when I wake up at 5:30, I'm usually at the door by 5:50, and I'm usually eating a snack on the way to post. So I'm eating a snack, and he responded well that whole day. And I got off around 12 too, because I was in my third trimester, and you start a different work schedule, basically being pregnant. So what I really didn't worry about it, and I just pushed it off to the side because he was responding to me the way he usually does. So next morning, Tuesday, March 19th, wake up the same time regularly. I eat something, and I eat at 6. I'm in formation by 6:25, and by this time my baby hasn't moved at all. And I started to freak out a little bit. And so 6:30, like when we're done with formation and we fall out and I get to my respective pregnancy group, I'm like, my baby hasn't moved. Like, this is definitely not like my baby. Like, he responds to me eating. So like I start freaking out just a little bit, and I start like shaking my stomach, and like my other pregnant friends are like, girl, what are you doing? I was like, my baby didn't respond to my snack. And they're like, oh, okay, we understand, because as first time mom, which we were all first time moms, it's just like the little things that scare you. So I was shaking my tummy, and then he like moved just a little bit. So I was like, oh, okay, but I couldn't let it go. Like, something deep down inside me was telling me, like, something's not right. For the past 9 months, he hasn't been responding the whole time. And now, close to my due date, he isn't really responding the way that he should be. So I was like, kind of worried. And then one of my other friends, she was like, I just went in for a stress test like a couple of days ago. You can just go up there and ask them to do a stress test for you. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do that right after an inspection that I was having for work. So I texted my husband because he was in the process of clearing and getting out of the military. And I told him, I was like, I'm going to go to the hospital after I'm done with my inspection because I feel like the baby is responding the way that he usually is. So I'm kind of worried. So I'm just going to do a stress test to see if his activity is good and it's where it needs to be. So y'all, I actually go to the hospital, which was about, I think I got there at 11:30. I ate a snack in the car because it was 11:30 is usually the time when you're going to lunch. So I was like, let me eat a snack since I don't know what time I'm going to get out the hospital if everything's all good. So I eat a snack and I'm walking into the hospital and he like moves just like a little bit and I'm steadily drinking water as well. And I walk in, go in there, and the lady is like, so what do you need? I was like, I need a stress test done because my baby's activity is not what it usually is, and I'm kind of worried. And she's like, well, they have scheduled stress tests, and I can see if they can fit you in. And I'm like, if I say I'm worried about my baby and what's going on, it shouldn't be like, well, there's a schedule and da-da-da-da-da. F that schedule, lady. Like, get me in so I can check to make sure that my child is okay in my stomach. So, I get, it's called a triage room at this hospital that I am at. And I get put in a triage room and then the nurse comes in and she was like, let me check your vitals. Tell me what's going on. Like, is he responding to the usual kick count? And I was like, I personally do not do a kick count because he responds on time and on schedule with everything that I eat or consume. So that's why I don't worry about a kick count because he's literally on a routine schedule. So she was like, okay, so let me monitor you for like the next 30 minutes and we're going to see like what's going on. And by this time also, I felt like I was low key contracting, but it wasn't hurting, so I really couldn't like tell because I was active my whole pregnancy. And I only experienced Braxton Hicks one time, and that was back in December. And that was the only time I experienced Braxton Hicks. Any other time, like even close to my due date, I did not experience Braxton Hicks. Luckily, because I heard Braxton Hicks be hurting. But anyway, so they come in and they're like, yeah, it seemed like he was responding well while we were monitoring his movements and stuff like that. But it does look like you're actually contracting. And I was like, oh, okay. So, maybe there's nothing wrong, whatever. And then like the midwife that was on duty and then the resident OBGYN, they come in and they're like, what? We heard that you were having some problems. So can we just do like a scan on your stomach and stuff like that? I was like, okay, cool, because then it's gonna give me a chance to see my baby. So y'all, it turns out while they're scanning over the stomach, talking all like medical-ish and stuff like that, I was low-key trying to eavesdrop because
Grey's Anatomy prepares you for everything.
And I'm listening to what they're saying, and they're now scanning all four quadrants of my stomach to see if he actually has enough water. So come to find out, the baby has low fluid. And this is where I low-key get ticked off. So I get ticked off because I just had my 38-week appointment on Friday, which was the 15th. And I'm like, how can I have low fluid when they just told me that I was perfectly fine on Friday? So something is not adding up. And y'all, when it comes to my baby, when it comes to my health, like, I low-key don't be trying to play because y'all hear the horror stories about hospitals not paying attention to different ethnicities and these women's needs. So I was already going in with my guard up. Y'all, when she told me that
your food is low and you're gonna have to stay. We're gonna admit you and induce you right now.
I was like, what? Wait, what? Sidebar, y'all, I was legit about to pack my hospital bag when I got home and got discharged from the hospital from the stress test, because that was my next plan to do, since I was basically like a week out from my due date. I already packed the baby's bag, but I already had all my stuff ready to pack my bag, but I didn't do it yet, and that's what I was going to do when I got home. So when she said that, I was low-key mad. I was like,
dang.
I didn't even pack my hospital bag.
But yeah, the head midwife was like,
You're not going home.
I said, well, I gotta go get my husband and I gotta go get my hospital bag and stuff like that. Like, it was all happening so fast, and I'm trying to like stay calm while focusing about like what I'm going to do and what's about to happen, because I'm really about to meet my baby and bring him into the world. And all, as well as I was worried about the fact that I was planning to do a natural birth, and that was like my main concern, because I was scared to get an epidural. And I've heard horror stories about epidural. I have good stories about epidural, but I honestly felt like I didn't want to get an epidural. I wanted to go natural and experience it that way. And me and my spouse, we agreed on it as well. So, y'all, she was like,
You ain't going nowhere. Tell your husband to catch an Uber or have somebody pick him up and bring a hospital bag and a baby bag, because you having this baby today.
and I'm like, first of all,
I don't know who this lady talking to. But girl, be some own voice. Girl, I know you're not talking to me like that. I know.
because I'm low-key freaking out inside. Like, I'm literally like shaking because of everything that they're telling me. I'm upset. I'm excited. I don't know what to do. My mother isn't here yet. My mother was literally coming the 25th, and my baby's due date was the 28th. So I thought she was going to be here for my baby's birth.
No, God was like, nah, it's just about to be you and your husband.
Which was fine, because I literally have prepped my husband for the past 5 months about how I wanted my hospital care, since I didn't go with a doula again. But you know, all I need is an advocate, and my husband can be my advocate, and he knows exactly what I want and what we both agreed to happen pertaining to my birth and getting our baby into the world. So y'all, by this time, it's like 12:20. They're like, yeah, we're getting your paperwork already, and you're about to be admitted. So they take me to the room. And it was a nice hospital room. Actually, before I gave birth, a couple weeks, almost 2 months before, we did a hospital tour so that we could see the room and see what was going on and see the whole labor and delivery floor. So I will try to insert that in here so you can see what I was staying in at that time. But they signed me in, get me situated and stuff. I had to put on a hospital gown, and that's when ish got real. My husband got here, and then they hooked me up to the IV, and y'all, they let an intern stick me. Like, when I tell y'all, like, my arms after I got out looked like I was a junkie because of all the problems that I had, all the issues that occurred, all the injections and blood draws that I had to get done. It was so much that I'm low-key traumatized of the hospital at the moment, and I'm just like, cool off needles, hospitals, and get my blood drawn, period. Yeah, my nurse at the time, she was about to switch in about like 7 hours. So I get stuck, and then they're like, you know what, we're about to induce you, because I was already 1.5 centimeters, almost 2, officially dilated. And the midwife was like, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to insert a balloon in you to expand your cervix. And it's this thing where it's 2 balloon sacs, and they fill it up with water. Well, they insert them in you, which, oh my God, it feels like the worst period cramps of your life. But I was trying to keep calm because I didn't want to stress out my baby. So they inserted it in me and she started blowing it up and I could feel it stressing and I'm like, ow, ow, ow.
Like, ow. Like,
That crap hurted so bad. So after that, she was like, yeah, we'll take it out in 12 hours. So it was 3 o'clock and they weren't scheduled to take it out until 3 a.m. But I thought she was gonna take it out at 9 for some reason. I don't know. But she was like, no, you're gonna take it out at 3 a.m. So I was like, all right, cool. Like I said before, I was gonna go natural. They were like, yeah, while we're inducing you, we're still gonna try to keep you like on the natural route as much as we can, besides the induction in the inducing medicine. Y'all, everything was fine. I wasn't struggling, but one thing that sucked about giving birth and being in labor was that they couldn't track my baby's heartbeat. And so that's when they were like, you got to keep still, like you can't move around and stuff like that. Because at this point, I was low-key starting to feel some contractions. They weren't frequent. Well, they were frequent, but they weren't like every 2 to 3 minutes. It was like maybe 5 to 8. So I'm like experiencing those. And then she keeps coming in here and like,
hey, you need to keep still because we can't feel your baby's heartbeat.
What do you mean? So she was like, you got to keep still because we are getting confused between your heartbeat and your baby's heartbeat with the monitors that they put on your tummy. And I'm like, bro, like, let me walk around, because that's the whole reason why I wanted to go natural, was so that I can walk around. Like, I'm a busybody and I can't keep still for a long period of time. So I knew I was going to lose my mind if I got the epidural straight away. And I'm just going to be sitting in this bed until I'm officially 9 and 10 centimeters down, dilated, and it's time to push.
Like, no, ma'am.
I can't do that. I low-key think that my nurse like hated me, and my husband thinks so too, because I could not keep still. And I was low-key getting aggravated with her because I was starting to feel the effects of the medicine and it was getting intense. So my irritability was like slowly rising. I apologize to this nurse, but I kept telling her thank you and please and stuff like that, so she know I really appreciate it. On top of, they did not let me eat. And I did not eat lunch. I only had a pair of crackers at 11:30. And by this time, it's like 3 o'clock, going on 4 or 5. And we're in this hospital. Like, a sister need to eat, but they're like, no, we're inducing you so you can't eat.
bro.
Why you gonna do me like that? But yeah, so by this time, I asked her, can I go sit in the shower, because it's like relaxing me. So she lets me sit in the shower, but I eventually have to get out the shower because they were once again having problems actually telling whose heartbeat was showing up on the damn monitor. And that shit was so fucking aggravating. So I had to get out the shower, lay in bed, and I had to keep switching positions because by unbeknown to me, his heart rate that was dropping was actually his official heart rate. That wasn't my heart rate. So my cousin, who works in labor and delivery in North Carolina, she was like, once they saw that the baby's heart rate was continually dropping, even though it wasn't your heart rate, they should have took you back to labor and delivery, took you back to the OR, because that's showing that the baby's in distress. But did they do that? They kept trying different things that ended up in the I didn't start Pitocin yet, but I was feeling the contractions due to the water balloon in my cervix. And like by 3 a.m., which I had a nurse switch to, they were like, okay, let's check to see if the balloon is ready to come out and it expanded your cervix. Y'all, when I tell y'all, cervix checks at this point were painful because it like literally like forced my cervix open. They sucked. Like, I low-key feel like I want to cry right now because it was such an emotional time. Like, I wanted my birthing process to be exciting and beautiful and me and my husband to have a good time, but I honestly did not have a good time. I had a horrible time. And it was not good at all. I went from being poked and pulled and inspected to like them trying to shove different stuff up into my vagina to monitor the baby, because the monitor on my stomach was not working for my baby and then regulating his heartbeat. So they attempted to put something up inside me to be able to time the contractions better, as well as be able to identify the baby's heartbeat better. So when they were actually able to get that up in there, because his head was right, like this is my cervix, his head was right here, so they couldn't even like get up officially in there because his head was already in the process of coming down and was sitting really low into my pelvic bone, that he was low-key blocking what they were trying to do. So they had to find other methods of being able to track my contractions correctly and locate his heartbeat to monitor it the way that they need to make sure that he was safe. So that brings me to the most traumatizing part of my birth. The most traumatizing part is that when they inserted the thing that could track my baby's heartbeat, you could hear the heartbeat echo throughout the room. And when his heartbeat would drop, when the contractions would actually start, it was crazy, because due to them taking out the balloon and it starting the Pitocin, that's when it like increased like my contraction levels and intensity of them. And I think I was on level 6 for Pitocin. And that's when I really started to feel the pain. And that's when my baby's heartbeat really started to drop. And it's crazy because I'm so glad I didn't record what it sounded like to hear my baby's heartbeat drop every contraction, which were at that time 2 to 3 minutes apart, some even 1 to 2 minutes apart. Like, it's crazy. I'll look over and a contraction is about to start and I can feel it coming, but also trying to stay calm and positive while I'm going through this contraction to be able to deal with it correctly. I literally started to lose focus, because while all this is happening, this is what I hear on the monitor. Ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. And once the contraction is over with, his heart rate will pick back up. So think about having contractions every 2 to 3 minutes, and then hearing your own child's heart rate drop drastically into the 80s level, low 80s, actually touching 80, and then coming back up to the 90s level. And the whole pregnancy, he's never been below a 110. Never has dropped so low. He's always been good in the 140, 155 range. Well, whatever is a good range for babies and stuff like that. Think about experiencing that. And so I knew going into trying to give birth and go into labor that I need to have a positive mind and stay calm and, try to really like dig deep within myself. But hearing that broke my mental barrier, y'all. To get really aggravated with my nurse, who was a male, and Danny was amazing, you guys. Like, that was his name, and he was absolutely amazing. He was amazing for my husband and me. He kept my husband calm, but my husband really didn't like show all that emotion, because he knew if I saw him freak out, I was just gonna go haywire and probably act a darn monkey in that hospital room. But yeah, my nurse, he did a really good job, and I'm really glad that he was the nurse that was assigned to me, because his vibe kept me calm. He was stern when he needed to be stern. He was sweet when he needed to be sweet, and that's what I needed. He literally helped me get through what I needed to get through. The next thing that actually happened, I looked at Danny and I was like, I can't deal with this anymore. Like, I literally can't deal with hearing my baby's heartbeat constantly drop. Like, tell them I want a C-section. I want to get my baby out, because by this time it's going on like 9:30, 10 o'clock. And I'm like, these contractions are horrible. I want you to turn down my baby's fucking heartbeat, because I can't deal with it anymore. Like, it's literally killing me mentally and emotionally to hear my baby's heartbeat constantly drop. So I'm gonna go talk to the doctors, I'm gonna go talk to the midwives, and I'm gonna see where the anesthesiologist is. But just so I know that you're aware of what you're about to do, because I know you wanted to go natural. I was like, I don't care. It's about my baby. It's not about me and my personal choices. Like, my baby comes first. Get my baby out. He was like, all right, so you aware that to get a C-section, you need epidural? And I was like, yeah, I'm aware. Like, Danny, go and get the darn doctor. Find out where he is, because I need to get this darn C-section. I need it. This is where I take kind of like a chill period. I talk to my husband and I'm like, do you agree with me getting an epidural? Is that perfectly fine? He was like, yeah, I totally agree. And as long as it's okay with you, because he's afraid of big noodles. And at this hospital, they allowed my spouse to still stay in the room with me. Thank God, because if Danny was in there, yeah, I wouldn't have like freaked out. But my husband's afraid of needles, and he actually stayed in there with me while I was getting my girl done. So all of that is happening, and I'm mentally preparing to meet my baby, and I just want them to go ahead and schedule the OR for me to get my baby out, because I can't deal with hearing his freaking heartbeat anymore, bro. Like, anymore. Like, I'm actually drained. And so after this happened, like, I didn't feel any more pain. I was able to actually go to sleep. And this is where all hell breaks loose. Because when I actually officially drift off to sleep by like 10:35, 10:45, they're rushing into my room. I want to say by 11:30, 12:15-ish. I think it's like around like that whole time period that this stuff started to happen, because my baby was born at 12:53. And they did my C-section to get him out super fast, because I was already injected with the epidural and the medicine and stuff like that. And while I was in my room, they were hooking me up to everything all at the same time. Like, they were getting the process going. So the reason why I ended up having to have an emergency C-section and them rushing to do it was because while I was sleeping, they were able to monitor the baby much better because I wasn't moving and stuff like that. But by the time they rushed in, they were rushing in and waking me up, is because my baby's heartbeat dropped drastically. When I tell you drastically, my baby was in the low 70s at this point. Like, I want to say 75-ish, about to go a little bit lower. And they came rushing in, and Danny was like, yeah, we got to get you back to the OR because it keeps dropping and these contractions are getting harder and he can't deal with it. They were like, yeah, you're at 7 centimeters and we can try to keep going. But I was like, no, I don't want that. Like, I want to go back. Like, take me back to the OR and get my baby out, because y'all going to sit here and keep trying to make me have a vaginal delivery, and my baby's not going to survive due to the fact of what y'all are trying to do. Like, yeah, I know it's procedures to everything and you got to go by the book, but I mean, if from the time that I came in, or well, by the time that I came in yesterday at 3 o'clock and y'all were noticing that he was having troubles with his heart rate due to the contractions that I was having and continuously throughout the night, even before Pitocin, that his heart rate was dropping like this due to the fact of my contractions, y'all should have already made the call. Point blank, period, because my baby was in jeopardy. And y'all continued to allow him to be in jeopardy up until the time that he came out. While I'm like still in like a daze a little bit from sleeping, like the midwives and all the people and nurses come in to help and rush and prepare me, because his heart rate is slowly picking back up, but it was in no time that another contraction was coming and his heart rate was going to drop again. So I had a nurse shaving me down there because I didn't get a chance to shave because
I got induced unexpectedly.
And The doctor is telling my husband to sign this for him, do the type of surgery that I'm about to go through. Danny is talking to me. He's like, after they're done, I'm going to put catheter up into your bladder, as well as the midwife and the actual surgeon who did my surgery for my cesarean. She was so nice. And her name was Zamboni. Zamboni Cutter. Her and her husband actually combined their names together, and they're the only family who literally has the name Zamboni Cutter. But that's how I remember, because she was so nice. She was like, I know this is a lot going on. You got to rush in and experience all this, but do you understand what's about to happen? I was like, yes, I'm perfectly fine. Like, I'm ready. Like, let's go. Let's rock and roll. I need to get my baby here safe and sound, please. So we end up going into the OR. They get my husband ready, and I'm just trying to stay calm because I just want my baby here. I was tired of hearing my baby's heartbeat. I was tired of them coming in and trying to insert stuff into my secret area all the time, trying to monitor the baby. Like, I was done with all of that. Like, them constantly digging up in there was so uncomfortable, y'all. Like, I'm glad Danny had my back, because it was actually one time when the doctors, they were trying to stuff something else up there to monitor the contractions and the baby, that it was hurting so bad that he was like, pull it out. Like, she can't handle it. Like, it's too much pain. And I'm so thankful for him. And dealing with all of that, I honestly felt like it shouldn't have been like that, and it shouldn't have lasted as long as it did. But it did. And I'm in the OR, and they're cutting me open, and they pull out my baby on March 20th at 12:53 p.m. My little boy, Landon Omari, was brought into this world at 6 pounds, 10 ounces, and 20 inches. I am so thankful for my baby getting here the way that he did, because it could have been a lot worse. I could have waited a couple of days to actually come to the hospital and get checked out because of his activity being low. I could have waited until his appointment on March 22nd, I think. When is it? Yeah, March 22nd. But I didn't. By the grace of God, I am so thankful that I did not wait. And my labor and delivery journey and my hospital stay did not end there. I actually had complications after that, but that will be in my part 2 story. And I just want to thank you so much for watching this video and listening to my experience. And I just want to let you know that I have to owe this video to It's Ray Ray, because she actually posted her birthing video and talking about what happened with her and her baby just a couple of days before I went to the hospital. And that's what really secured in my mind that I need to actually go to the hospital. Just her posting what happened with her baby and her needing to be induced and her baby's activity being low made it a concern for me, my baby's activity being low, because yes, I feel him and stuff like that, but I really don't know what's going on. I would just like to thank her and how much an effect her video and posting it and me actually watching it. I don't really recommend pregnant women watching videos like that, because every birthing experience is going to be different, and you don't want to like put thoughts into your mind like, oh my God, this can happen to me, this can happen to my baby, like and freak yourself out, especially close to birth. But I have to thank her, because it's all to her and to my friends and me going to get a stress test that my baby actually got here safe and sound. No matter what happened during labor, he was still able to get here. And I am so thankful for that. Next time, y'all, when I come out with a part 2 of what happened after my C-section, the story doesn't end there, because it gets a lot worse, y'all. A lot worse. But until the next time, y'all, peace.